Hi, my name is Guez, and I'm the CEO of co-founder of Papaya Global. I'm here to speak about the main strategies for creating a truly global organizations without losing control or your peace of mind. Let's begin. For the past 20 years, I've been deeply involved in the world of global workforce and global payroll. We established Papaya to turn all of that knowledge and experience into an outstanding technological platform to help companies scale quickly and manage their global teams compliantly. We created a SaaS platform for managing the employee journey from the very beginning to the very end, from onboarding to payments and everything in between, in 100 countries. The Papaya platform can handle all types of employees, payroll, EOR, and contractors through automation and AI processes. It unifies all data formats to simplify the process and works alongside networks of experts who support our clients on the legal aspects of global hiring, benefit, immigration, equity, and salary benchmarks. 35% of our clients grew by 100% in the last year. 80% of those become unicorns, just as we did. It means super fast growth and constant change of the global scale. So where does global expansion begin? Can you focus on the talent you want to hire without considering the location? Naturally, the real answer is yes. And no. The trick is knowing when to say yes and when to say no. When do you say yes? When you define roles which are strategic to the organizations and are willing to hire them in any locations regarding the cost of employment, complexity of hiring, and termination of employment. When do you say no? When the roles are based on high volume and not on the individual talent. Those needs to be hired in country where scaling is easy, cost of employment is reasonable, and the complexity of hiring process is not very high. What options do you have for hiring? So in Papaya, we support all type of options, from contractors, EOR, PO to payroll. We are working on a very, very flexible environment where you can switch between models without changing anything in your experience and journey, and obviously without changing anything in the employee experience, just according to the company's scale, growth, and needs at the current time. What's the difference between the models? So contractors always seems to be the easiest model to start with. But honestly, these days, that will be my last recommendation. Everything that starts easy can end with a very, very complex legal claims. Look in Uber and their driver claims of being employees, worker misclassification. This is a very, very serious risk these days that you should take in consideration and be aware of. Very limited IP and non-compete protections, and everything that you'll grant to the contractors, from benefits to equity, will actually increase this risk of misclassification claims and legal claims towards employment relationship. EURPEO, that's the best growth for current growth strategic in small volume. Easy to onboard, you don't need to know anything about the local employment laws. There is no risk of misclassification, and we can assist you easily to grant equity, benefits, and to protect your IP and non-compete. Payroll. This is where you need to consider where you're already growing. It's slower to onboard, you need to set up your payroll entity in place, but when you are ready, there's obviously the major and the major investment. But once you are going live, this is it. You are ready. You can onboard and you can hire in these locations easily and directly, very, very, very nicely. You are able to grant any equity, any benefit plan, and obviously protect anything that is related to your IP and non-compete. So what's the conclusion? Contractors, avoid in any case, unless very, very specific countries. After checking the worker misclassification assessment and assuring what is the risks. EURPEO, best practice for growth stage. Up to 15 employees, this is probably the ideal solution for you. Payroll, best for ongoing and primary locations, where you're going to see your major growth and scale. The most important advice I'll share today, wear sunscreen. No, seriously, avoid using templates of contracts without legal review. There is no one template fits all. The contract defines your obligation to your employee, so don't rush to sign anything that someone just handed over for you as a draft that hasn't been approved by your local lawyer and someone you trust. This is your risk, this is your company. You don't want to spend precious time with legal claims of contracts that you don't even aware of what they really define and protect. Once you decide on the location and type of employment, focus on the employee experience. Aim to create a similar experience for all global employees as possible, from onboarding to the ongoing benefits. We collected here some of the global benefits that we recommend to implement in the organizations, from unified paternity and paternity leave of 3 months, paid or unpaid, but ensure that you have the same policy to cover all locations, unless you have any local regulation that will define some other needs. Medical coverage. Don't just give your employee the budget, provide them with the coverage. This means so much for them just getting the benefit, mainly these days of COVID, not having the liability and the necessity to go and hunt for a medical benefit themselves. Assure that you have medical coverage in place, assure that you can provide them in every single location. Pay time off policy. Try to keep a simple, transparent policy in the organizations, in every location, in everywhere that you work. Personal empowerment and birthday benefits. Be personalized. Give your employees the extra attention and the extra values that your organizations bring to the table. Those two things are super important in order to create unique employment experience in your organizations. Meal vouchers. While in some countries they are very, very common, in other countries they aren't. Try to create, again, one policy to cover the whole world. Fitness. Obviously, a great thing to do. Optional, we always recommend to have a fitness budget as well globally to assure that you are helping your employees to stay sharp. Create and share a single vision of respect for everyone in the organization and make it part of the company DNA in everything you do. Everyone will be proud to be part of it. Now we'll go to the peek behind the curtains of Papaya Global. How do you manage such global operations month over month seamlessly? The best thing I will say is avoid manual processes. Automate, automate, automate. Ensure that you can keep and track the data cycles seamless as possible, unified and consolidated as possible. Let's go over and understand how a payroll cycle looks like. What do you need to comply with? So the first step in every payroll cycle will be the data collections. New hire, termination, change of roles, time and attendance, time of an absence, expenses, commissions, so many data and details that needs to be collected from every single employee on every single locations and need to be consolidated, calculated, and so on. The second part is the payroll calculation. Every payroll needs to be calculated and verified before processing to payments. You need to assure that everyone is getting paid correctly, that all of the items are there, all of contributions and benefits are also part of the payroll cycle and has been taken in considerations. This is how it looks like in Papaya, a sneak peek to our cycle and basically the automation process that we are doing. Compliance engine to verify everything that you input into the data and to take this manual process of verifying payslip per payslip away from your desk. This is not a task that you should do in 2021. From payroll from onboarding to prepayment and payment, this is everything here is being consolidated, automated, and basically taking care of your table. We want to assure that we bring the maximum value. We want to assure that we take all of the burden of the cycle away from your table. Payments. How do you pay to so many employees in so many countries compliantly on time, assuring that every payment has been reconciled as it should in the local country? This is something that you really need to take care of. This is something that obviously we will automate, but you want to assure that payments are being made correctly in the right format and on times to the employees, to the benefit workers, and to the authorities to avoid any future claims. Your main goal when you are starting to grow globally is to stay in control on the different needs, regulation, and employment rights. Make sure you are working with the best experts to support your global journey. Don't try to do it yourself. Don't try to take control on so many different countries, different compliance, regulation, labor laws, and so many different rules, because eventually you'll find yourself with a very, very, very disappointing employment experience and tons of ongoing manual tasks that you need to process yourself. Payroll is all in the details. We encourage you to use our global resource because global payroll is very, very important for us, and we want to assure that you have the best resource to learn. So, first, you can always talk to us. We are always happy to assist, to evaluate your global strategy, and to share our best practices from a lot of experience with a lot of companies that are growing very quickly. You can read our Countrypedia, who is basically the full and complete guide for every country in the world and everything that you need to know about any location. You can see our salary cost calculator in order to determine where you should work and what will be the labor regulation and total cost of employment in every location around the world. And you can join our very, very unique community called People and Payroll, where you can meet your peers, just compare, benchmark, ask them questions, and gain insight from people like you that are global experts that are currently working in companies that are working and scaling globally. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to be here, and we do wish you a global, pleasant journey along the world. Thank you.